Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
We're off to a roaring start here. We played the wrong intro.
It's all right. Feels like a morning, Clay. It's okay.
That's pretty much how this game went, right? Everybody's listen. I can't jump on the floor now. I done screwed up myself, right? So funny how that works. Anyway, welcome into Packers Total Access Postgame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin on the Minnesota border, and we got Matt LaFleur at the podium. Let's see what the coaches got to say here after this tough loss to the Chicago Bears.
Had far too many miscues. We knew going into the game that you better win the ball. And we had the two turnovers that one of them certainly led to points. The other one we busted protection, and as we're driving in the second half and coughed it up there. And then at the end of the game, that's squarely on me. Just got caught in a situation where we were planning on going for it, and they felt like Brandon could make that field goal, and hindsight's 2020. I wish I wouldn't have taken the time out because it gave him obviously way too much time to go down and operate. So, like I told the team, I mean, that's on me. That can't happen. So it's just, we got to wipe this as soon as possible. Like it's a new season now. It's everybody's 0-0. We knew we were going to have to go on the road. So we're going to have to go on the road to Philly, and we'll figure out what day we play, and we'll have a plan in place. But obviously very disappointed right now.
Did Jordan have gone that timeout on third down before you ran it?
Yeah, you could have. I mean, we thought we had something going, with some of the no huddle stuff, just pounding the ball in there. They were in 3 week. We didn't get the Z to motion across, so we were kind of out leveraged there, and then we lost yardage. So wasn't anticipating that, but that was the circumstance, and that's why I called the timeout, because we went backwards, because I was planning on going for it right there.
Have gone back in, and you just hold him out as a precaution.
Yeah, he was good to go back in. In fact, we thought that there was a chance that he was going to have to go back in the game because Malik got his thumb hit and he couldn't really feel it. So, but I thought Malik went in there, and I thought he played tough, man. I thought he did a lot of good things. He gave guys an opportunity. Malik Heath came through with some big catches. Jaden Reed made some big catches. All those guys competed, and that's why it's just so disappointing, because I felt like our guys went out there and they played hard, and I thought our defense for the most part dominated. But when you give up a return for a touchdown and then they get a short field like they did in that first half, that's just too much.
Before their field goal, it looked like you guys were given the middle of the field there. What's the time limit on when,
Typically it's 12 seconds. That's usually what we go by. 3rd and 15. I wasn't anticipating them getting a slant for however 20 yards or whatever it was, and they went down. We weren't slow off the pile, and they were able to clock it. And so all in all, it's bad ball.
Idea of how serious Christian's knee is?
Yeah, I'm not super confident about that right now.
So how do you, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because of the playoff seeding and all that, but how do you get these guys turned around in a hurry and kind of reset?
Yeah, I think that, that's just the nature of this beast. Is certainly didn't want to go into the playoffs like this, but that's our circumstance. And so we got to be tough-minded and got to be critical, and we got to flip the script as soon as possible and move on to the next game. And like I said, it's a whole new season. And if we know we got a tough road in front of us, but I think got one that guys are going to attack for sure.
Man,
all right, let's go ahead and get the chat in here, guys. I don't want it to be the press conference for the whole show, but thank you for pulling it up, Tim. Appreciate that screen grab there. So obviously we'll go around with the initial thoughts of the game, and then we'll dive into the chat. We got everybody already lighting the chat up. Probably should start there to stay caught up, as a matter of fact. We'll just get maybe just a quick 30, 45 seconds from everyone. you got to put it into perspective. We always talk about that. Do you want to win that game? Absolutely, you do. You guys know leading up this week, I'm going. You can't come in here thinking you're going to beat the Bears. Like you can't just think, all right, win it ever is, right? When I seen that 10-point spread, you guys know how I feel about that. If I betted on Packer games, I would have took the Bears there plus 10 because it's the National Football League and that's easy money most of the time. But with that being said, you've got your starting quarterback goes out of the game, right? Your backup quarterback, by the way, the 2-point conversion they went for to tie the ball game up, he couldn't even hold the football because he had cracked his hand, right? If I understood that correctly, which that's bad communication. Let's be honest. Look over the sideline. Hey, coach, I can't throw the freaking football. Maybe don't tell them that so the defense knows that. We'll come up with a different. I don't think you're going to throw the football there in that situation if you know your quarterback can't grip it, right? That ball to Heath, though, we could talk about all that later. What a bomb that was. But you're down your starting quarterback. They took Jacobs out after 6 carries because they didn't want to get him hurt. We all talked about that, right? Christian Watson leaves with a knee injury, and I already seen people on Twitter say opposite knee. It's not even the same knee. Again, guys, when you're wearing a brace on one knee, it's real easy to hurt the other one because you're putting more pressure, more strain on that knee. Now, my argument going into this week was if he's not 100%, don't put him out there. And obviously, we screwed the pooch on that one. There's no two ways about that. So that's my big takeaway is you got to put it into perspective, man. And again, you're in the game at the end. You had a chance to win. Me and Tim were talking offline. We're going to talk about that final play call there on that final drive on defense. I have no idea what they were thinking there, playing prevent. That's prevent. You always heard people say Joe Barry plays prevent. That was prevent. 3-man rush, 3 deep, everybody playing off.
30 yards down the field, legitimately.
It made no
2 or 3 safeties down the yard, 30 yards.
It made no sense as to why you would give them underneath to get in field goal range. It should have been the opposite. Hey, look, unreal. If you're worried about them throwing a bomb, chances are they're not going to throw a bomb because they're playing for 3, right?
Yeah.
So,
and usually in that situation, you'll shade a linebacker down in the middle. You'll put at least one backer somewhere in the middle of the field. I don't know what that was, man.
And to me, I don't know when you guys saw that. Basically, they lined up in the oop-de-oop, and then they split out DJ Moore to the left on single coverage, and I'm like, is anybody going to just notice that that's happening? No? It's got no safety help.
The sickening thing, it was out of a timeout. They gave us that look prior to the timeout, and then we came out of a timeout, and we weren't ready.
Right. And, they came out in that triple stack look. As soon as I seen that, I went, boy, that's a tough look. My mind immediately started going through, how do I play that? How would I play that? How would I play that? And then I look at the middle of the field, and I'm going, where the hell's our defense? And then they hammer the slant on the opposite side. They drew the attention to the triple stack, hammer the slant backside. You're in field goal range. And look, hell of a kick too by Santos, right? I'll be honest with you. I was expecting him to miss it. And he nailed it, right? But Dennis Shook with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, effing woof. Well, on to Philly. Why play Watson? Question mark. Right there with you, Shook.
Don't have any idea.
The only thing I can think of, is Rome was a scratch with the illness. And maybe they felt like we just needed personnel.
I'm sorry. Is anybody else thinking about Rome not playing? That could be. I don't even want to get into that conspiracy theory, but to me, he's not the type of player that sits off when we're playing the Bears going in for a actual better playoff seed. Last second scratch to me makes me kind of be like, what is going on? Is this?
He was sick, right? That's what they said.
He's sick. Illness.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Jacob, you go to work when you got the flu, bro?
Unfortunately, I had to a lot of times. Right? I mean, if this is the last season of the game, I would wonder if there's any sort of like incentives as to what his contract is structured like. You know what I mean? Like if there's,
it's a rookie deal. Yeah, there can't be.
Okay.
Highly unlikely for a late round pick. Sometimes those first rounders will get some clauses put in. It's still got to fall within the structure of the rookie framework, But again, Dennis, thank you for the super chat. Completely agree with that Watson thing, man. Like they said, could be possible that they're a little light-handed there with Romeo being out with the sickness, but yeah. Let's hear. Mike Ebring says, time for some reality this week, fellas. I'm not sure what that means, Mike. We've been living in reality all year long, bro. No clue what you're talking about there. Kind of a vague comment. If you want to specify with the regular chat, we'll try to catch it. But again, it's the youngest team in the league. You're down your starting quarterback. You're down your 2 top receivers. You're down your starting running back. and we're acting like it's a slam dunk win. That's just the way I. So
yeah.
Now the play calling, horrendous, but you see social media blowing up, going, "Are they holding stuff back? Are they holding stuff back?" I could see a little bit there because there was a couple play calls. I'm like, what in the hell are we? I tweeted about it. What are we doing? What is this?
You think this is something here? Just like you're just talking here, Clay? Nick McSwain saying the team was trying to win, but the more important thing was them putting specific things on tape for the playoffs, in my opinion.
Makes sense. Yeah. Again, trying to win, it's not like you're trying to botch the win, but at the same time, you don't want to put too much on the tape. You already got you already got a playoff spot locked up. Now we know that going in, you didn't control your entire destiny, which, by the way, did the Commanders win? Do we even know if they won?
Yeah. I believe they came back and won.
Okay. So this game meant nothing. You know what I mean? That's what we were talking about. So, you want to create momentum. You don't want to go in the playoffs with a 2-game losing streak. That's the big thing for me. But again, when your quarterback, did you guys see his elbow? See Jordan Love's elbow hit the helmet?
Yeah, man. Can we talk about that too? We were not too long ago. We were talking about like, hey, we got an extra roster spot to play with. We don't need to worry too much. We got our open roster spot. Well, not anymore, because you can't tell me you're not activating Clifford and going to Philly with 3 quarterbacks the way this game ended. So, time to start aligning things and looking at who we're going to have available for this playoff game now.
Yeah, definitely. Oof. TC fan with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says, can we stop comparing Matt LaFleur to Vince Lombardi now? The clock management was atrocious. Who in the hell said that Matt LaFleur was Vince Lombardi? I need to know that. I need you to find that sound grab for me, Bub.
I think he's just saying that. I think there's a lot of pro LaFleur fans that have, maybe said that he has a close winning percentage, I would guess is probably the biggest stretch I could make for that argument. But I don't think he's necessarily calling us or this fan base out. I think it's more of, it's just frustrating, man. I agree. The clock management was atrocious. Matt LaFleur just said that in the press conference. He said, I shouldn't have called that timeout. And I will argue, take the freaking points again, Matt. And then don't do the jet sweep, Matt. And then don't stop running the ball, Matt. What do you do?
The winning percentage is what the winning percentage is. So if that's the argument there, I'm sorry, I can't help you. His winning percentage is extremely high. We're going to talk about that. All right. Let's make that very, very clear here. Now, in terms of a guy who won, what was it? Lombardi won 5 championships. If you've ever heard anyone compare Matt LaFleur winning 0 championships to Lombardi, who's won 5, please point out the timestamp on that video, because no one's ever done it. Listen. This is the problem I got. I told the guys, I tell y'all before we went live, there's going to be people pissed off. Frankly, I'm pissed off too. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about the negative. We're going to talk. If you see it, you got to say it, right? But when you start throwing stuff like that up, man, I got to call you on it. And just like I said, the vague statement of time for reality this week, fellas. Like, what are we even doing? Tim, you said it best offline. Like, if you're going to act like this team is a horrible team when they lose a game, when they win one, don't come in here running victory laps, man. Don't do it.
Yep.
It's because it is. It's just, it's fake. It's fake fandom.
Don't act like a bad performance is an indictment on your entire career or your entire, season even. Like let's be real, and I get it. I get the portion of the fan base that doesn't want to hear, overly positive. There's a lot of great takeaways. No, it was a bad performance by this team in a Week 18 game at home against a division rival that you want to beat. But hey, at the end of the day, it's never perfect, right? Like Matt says, right? Wasn't a perfect game. It never is. Win or lose, games are like that. We're going to want calls back. I think we can probably say this is one of the worst called games for Matt, I think, of the season. And maybe
his career.
Yeah. Well, maybe, arguably, this is not the first heartbreak we've sat through. And luckily this was just a regular season ending finale, not for all the marbles. So maybe it's a good thing in hindsight that we got this crap out of our system as we head into a tough playoff run here potentially. But if you're a part of the fan base that thinks it's over and it's done and this team's cooked, it's not a year, then shut the hell up, stay out of my face. Don't at me on Twitter. Don't even watch the game next week if you're convinced that it's over with already.
That's the thing.
That's my attitude. Just shut up and don't talk ball. Yes. You're not welcome in my feed because you're a doom and gloomer. And I don't think it's fair to do that based off of just one kind of crummy performance. Even with a horrible start to this game, we were never out of it. And this team, as always, gritted it out together and gave us something to cheer for down the stretch. And, I think our coaches let us down a little bit with some of the play calls. But at the end of the day, a bad game does not indicate a bad team, period. So if you think they're done, then just be done with them. Crawl into your hole and be negative.
Godsmack AR69 with the super chat says, I knew we were in trouble early whenever Rich Bisaccia gets a lot of screen time. That's never a good sign. That's so true. That's so true. And I've seen people running Bisaccia through the ringer over that kickoff. Guys, if you think that's not taught to not just key in on the returner, but find the ball, then, we're kidding ourselves there. Right now, it does help that they had a blatant hold right in front of the right in front of the sideline ref. I pointed that out again on Twitter. Like, what the hell? And you can see it. I slowed it down so as he comes into frame, the official's looking right at the hole. They go right by.
I'd love to see the also the all 22 from the Caleb when he gets the horse collar, which I get. You get to make the call. He fluffed just like Caleb would fluff when he had that little neck.
Yeah, dude.
I guarantee though, I don't want to say guarantee, but I'd love to look back because in my eyes I saw some blatant holding again right before that let him get out of that pocket. We'll see that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it's definitely been tough. And again, I don't like to see Bisaccia. You guys know I've been very up and down with Bisaccia. I think I'm one of those fans that have kind of thought he's maybe quote unquote overrated or whatever the case is. It just, the worst thing about this game, in my opinion, was that it gave every single Packer troll a chance to bite. You know what I'm saying? It was the Jordan Love's not good enough. The Malik Willis should go in first, that they're starting guys that shouldn't be out there, that Christian Watson's made of glass, that the defense can't stop. You know what I mean? They gave him everything. They gave him the special teams.
Here's the thing. If they had missed that field goal, they still would have been in here talking like that.
Yep.
If we had beat the Bears by 12 points and it not been beautiful, we beat a team by 30 points. Yeah, right. Was it 30 points? No, was it 20?
I thought it was 34-0, didn't it?
34-0 in their house, right? Was that the Seattle game? Am I thinking right? What game was that? Not Seattle. What game was it? Saints. Okay. We go to Seattle and beat them by 2 scores on the road, and there's still people in here going, "Whoa, this team's horrible." They're trying. I'm like, yep. So that whole conversation about the Bears, if we somehow pull out that win, they're still in here trolling. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But Godsmack, thank you for the super chat, man. Agreed. When you see Rich Bisaccia on the screen like that, bro, you're gonna be a long day. Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says 10% confidence in this team next week. So you're saying there's a chance, Josh. Goose with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says love and the offense. Goose? What's that?
Oh, nothing. I haven't seen Goose in a minute. What's up, Goose? It's nice to see you.
Love and the offense figured they could go on off-season vacation starting with the holidays. All right. Got it. Still a top 5 offense, but all right, we got you. Thank you, Goose, for the super chat, sir. All right, let's see. We had a couple more marked here. Let's fall back. I rock. It was a vanilla offense. We got to get healthy for the playoffs. I think that's a fair depiction of the offense. Yep. There was multiple times you find yourself scratching your head like, I don't understand that play call. The jet sweeps, and I see a lot of people in here talking about jet sweeps. Man, when a 4th and 3 and your running backs are averaging 6 yards a carry and you hand it off to a receiver, which, by the way, the receivers on the jet sweeps, we averaged 1 yard per carry today on the jet sweeps. Okay. So, again, you're running somewhere between 10 to 17 yards horizontally to gain 1, right? And then we get in that 4th and 3 situation. Just a second. We get in that 4th and 3 situation, right? What do? You run a jet sweep. And that kind of goes back to what people are saying about are we holding stuff back, you think? Right. So go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just going to say Kevin King was saying exactly what you were saying as you said it. He said, honestly, I don't understand that jet sweep on the 4th down play. We had a first half, or we had it in the first half.
Guys, how about the one we ran on 1st down from our own 27 and coughed the ball up at the end of the quarter? Yeah. I mean, that was atrocious too.
Yeah. There's a lot of plays like that really kind of set the tone on the day, man. And again, you finished the turnover differential 2-2, but yeah, I just don't understand it. Somebody was in my mentions, I believe, and they said, man, Lombardi would have a fit handing the ball to a guy wearing sleeves like that. I cracked up. I'm like, good point. Valid point, really. Rel with the chat here says, also Malik hurt his hand on that bomb to Heath. Yeah, and that bomb was, man, he hummed that tater. He really did. But I am curious to see if AFAM drops in here. Let's see what our boy Malik Willis. Yeah, Malik Willis finished 10 of 13 for 136 yards. But again, we end up losing to the Bears. So here's what it is. 7 of 12 for Jordan for 69 yards before he was taken out of the game there. Obviously, Emmanuel Wilson, 14 carries for 73 yards. You had Chris Brooks, 8 carries for 59 yards, which looked damn good, I thought. And then Josh Jacobs had the 6 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Wilson also had a touchdown there as well. But Malik Heath, man, wow, what a catch that was. What a freaking catch. So
he's a dog, man.
I'm really excited to see him in the future. 5 targets, 3 catches, 53 yards, and clutch hands too. And by the way, Dontavion Wicks today, I thought, caught the ball a lot better. 6 targets, 5 catches for 49 yards. Jaden Reed caught both of his targets, and what an adjustment on that wobbler from Malik there too.
I was just going to ask you, Clayton, like, does anybody else see a more blatant non-call on a pass interference than when Jaden Reed came back for that ball and the guy grabs him across? Like, at what point are we going to just stop this nonsense, guys? Like, this is a $1 billion industry, and you don't think that you have the time to take 12 seconds, because that's all it would take if you went and reviewed that penalty and say, oh no, never mind. And I'm saying obviously the guy caught the ball, but if he doesn't, that's the changing of a game right there. And the fact that we don't have the technology and all that, it's just bull crap. I don't know. It's starting to make me just think, like, what is the purpose for this? You keep making so many fan bases kind of lose their faith in this NFL stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, me and Tim have talked about this pretty much ad nauseum all year long. They want that buffer, I think.
Yep.
They want that buffer. That's just my personal opinion.
We think it's incompetence. I think it's
malicious.
There's intent behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like. I think they're but hey, that's not why we lost, though, guys.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I agree. I would just say, if you could, I'd get Vegas out of the NFL. You want to go make a bet? Go to your friend No Neck Tony. Go behind the salad bar and give him a little dime. And tell him you want to
juice. No, don't give him.
Don't give him juice.
Don't give him the juice. Don't do that. It's. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, Vegas is not getting out of football. They're probably making more money out of Vegas than they are anything else attached to the NFL right now. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, Harry Cheese says, oh, no, we lost to the Bears while not playing our number 2 wide receiver. Number 1 wide receiver goes down with our number 1 quarterback, and we held out our number 1 running back. Harry Cheese says, oh, no, the sky is falling. That pretty much sums up how I feel too. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I feel better about next week's matchup against the Eagles after this game. I'm not. Too many mistakes, right? Everything Matt LaFleur just talked about. But, again, man, any given Sunday, you never know. And this team may come out next week and look totally different. Could happen. But, yeah, I'm glad you said that too there, Harry Cheese, in the chat, because that's exactly the way I sat down afterwards and I'm like, all right, man, let's kind of let this settle in a minute. And then it hit me. I was like, damn, we were playing with a bunch of backups at the most important positions on offense. Like, that is a real thing. I'm not imagining that, am I? I'm going back through my notes. Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because it's the Bears. You want to win every game you play against the Bears, obviously. So it was fun, though, I got to admit, for those 30 seconds or however long it was when they coughed it up. Did you guys hear Moose Johnson on the telecast? He said, Bears fans, this is pre-snap. Bears fans are thinking, man, how are we going to screw this up? And then,
boom, Carrington Valentine.
I laughed.
He goes, I didn't mean that.
Right. Exactly. All right, here. Let's see. We had a couple more super chats. Did we not? No, we got them all, didn't we?
I think we got them all right now. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, completely agree there, Harry. Let's see here. John in the chat says, fought till the end. Love the players stepping up. Concerned about needs to clean up our mistakes next week. And that's the thing, John. Like, we as fans, and I know I'm as guilty as anyone, you get really excited when you got such a young team, right? You're like, man, this team's competing with the best teams in the league, and they're the youngest roster. But when they make mistakes like what John's talking about here, you got to attribute that to having a young team, right? Like that's kind of that balance. And there's a reason why, to the best of my knowledge, you guys correct me if you know of one, there's never been a team in the history of the National Football League that's won a Super Bowl with the youngest roster. It's just never happened, right? It's never been a thing. Not to say it's not possible, but the odds of that happening are obviously extremely low. Why is that? Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mental mistakes. You're going to have penalties. We've seen Enigbare all year. He plays undisciplined, right? Like that dude, when he's on, he's as good as any edge rusher in the league when he's on. Yeah. But man, he does some things like if you don't get that 15-yard penalty there, I feel really comfortable saying Caleb throws that ball away because to Jacob's point, the theatrics that Caleb put on throwing his hands up, you could tell he was not planning on throwing that ball down the field, or else he'd have been focused on the follow through of that and what have you, right? He was more concerned with, yes, I got him to grab my collar. Let me flail around now. But if you don't get that penalty, I really like our chances of pulling out that W. And if we did pull out that W, you know what happens, guys? The seeding doesn't change. And I'm telling you, the negative people the ultra negative people would be in here going, well, we barely beat the Bears. And they wouldn't be mentioning the backup quarterback. They wouldn't be mentioning the top two receivers. And they wouldn't be mentioning Josh Jacobs coming out of the game. So, and for the people that want that to happen, right? If you don't pull Jacobs out of the game or you put Love back in, like, I was chatting with people on Twitter and the entire fan base was like, when Love was warming up, I didn't see one person go, yeah, bring Love back in. It was always like, no, keep him off the field. What are we doing? Yep. And then you lose the game and it's like, oh my God, this is horrible. Right. So I don't know, man. The thing that really ticks me off the most though is Christian Watson. Like, what are we doing? Why did we have him out there?
Why?
I would rather lose by 14 points to the Bears at home.
And keep Christian Watson. Yep.
Yeah, to keep him healthy. So, and would a full week help that much? I don't know. But at least you could check that box and go, okay, we did everything we could, right?
Also, a fun fact, I would love for somebody in the chat real quick, if you could let us know, because I saw a stat from somebody, and it was on the internet, so take it with a grain of salt, but you can quick fact check it, is who has missed more games, Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs? And I think it might surprise you from what I saw.
Wow, I didn't even realize. That's wild. Two Tone says Matt got to lock in this offseason. A lot of losses been on him. When you hear something like that, you try to step back and go, okay, let me think of the losses we've had. And yeah, there's been situations where Matt could have called a better game, right? Could have coached better. There's also been situations where we've made stupid mistakes, And again, I think that goes back to the youngest team. Yeah. It's like Jordan. Early in the year, Jordan throwing the pick six against Detroit that changed the whole outcome of that game. You could look at that two ways. You can go, man, what the hell is Jordan doing? But me, yeah, I'm upset with Jordan, but I was equally as upset with Matt going, why are we trying to be aggressive before halftime? Now, I am in the extreme minority with that opinion, obviously. I feel like, hey, look, you've got to protect the middle eight, whether you're already losing it or you're winning it. You don't want to give someone an easy score and then give them the ball back right after halftime, right? So, let's see Kevin King in the chat. Not the Kevin King, it's our Kevin. He says, honestly, I didn't understand that jet sweep on the fourth down we had in the first half, I think. Did you already highlight this one, Jacob?
Yeah, it was just when you were actually talking about it, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So, just to kind of button that up. Again, I completely agree with you, Kevin. I think everybody here agrees, right? Tim, Jacob, we agree on that jet sweep. Like, what are we – and there's a portion of the fan base that's always going to go, well, when it works, you don't complain, which is true. I got you. If he picks up the first down, we're probably not even talking about it, right? But
it's been so long since we've seen that happen on one of those. So
it's funny you say that, Tim, because I immediately when it happened, I'm like, I wish there was a way that I could run down the statistics. I need to go to every rushing play over, let's say, the last 4 game saturation and see what we're averaging on jet sweeps per carry, because it just feels like it's not there. It's just not there. So, and it's one thing if your run game's still, like we broke it out a couple games ago and it worked because they were loading the box, right?
Yep. But today, they do work, but you got to know when to call them, man. You got to call that play within some kind of a rhythm to catch a defense off guard with it, because every time we ran it today, the Bears were never fooled by it at all.
And there's a direct correlation, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but there's a direct correlation of your running backs are hammering the ball between the tackles successfully. That's the soft spot of the defense, right? Yep. And then you try to run one jet sweep and you lose yards or gain a yard, whatever it may be, right? And then all of a sudden, okay, now it's all right. We know that's not there. Hark, between the tackles is there. Let's press in. Let's press in. You come back to it 4 times. That's just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. J. Cole in the chat. Re-sign McManus. Amen to that.
Let's do it.
McManus is now over 95% field goal percentage. He may be leading the league now. He's definitely at least second in the league in field goal percentage. So completely agree with that. And you're probably going to end up having to pay him top kicker money if you do re-sign him as well. So let's see here. Mike Hebrig in the chat. Go to Philly and smoke the Eagles and all forgotten. That's a fact, Mike.
There we go.
Ain't nobody talking about this game if that happens. All right.
That's right.
Now, is it going to happen? Highly unlikely. Can they pull out a close win? I definitely think it's possible, man.
Yeah.
We played this team week 1, right? Now, the problem is, tell the two teams, right? Is this team playing its best football, the Packers? No, they ain't. Now, are they the healthiest? No, they're not, right? Now, obviously, in week 1, you're going up against the Eagles. You don't have a grab on exactly what, what's his name? Big Fangio is going to do with that defense, right? So you're trying to fill that out. That's why Matt typically has a lot of success there in the 3rd and 4th quarters of the season, is because he's so good at scheming. And that's today again, man. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but it just feels like we were keeping things very vanilla today. Hopefully that's the case. We'll find out next week, right? Like Mike says, you go out there and smoke the Philadelphia Eagles and all is forgotten. Guys, Smack AR69 with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, I envy those who can be optimistic after back-to-back cluster. And you know what? To be honest, I'm in, quote, hope for the best, plan for the worst mode. You know, the way you word that, guys, Smack, I think it's pretty fair. Again, we talked about expectations. What was it 3-4 weeks ago, guys, when I first mentioned I don't think this team's going to win the Super Bowl. It's possible, but I just don't see it. I think next year and the year after, that window is wide open to really get the pieces you need. But I don't know if you guys got anything to say about that. But again, that's why I'm getting messages, people going, "How can you say so calm?" And that's the reason. Like it's realistic expectations of here's where the team's at. Now it could pop at any minute. Like why did we show that comparison between Favre's start with the Packers and Love's? To create proper expectations. Favre went down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, and obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks in Packer history. And they went 9-7, 9-7, 9-7, then bang, 11 wins. Packers got 12 this year, right? And then they go to 13 wins and win the whole thing. Like it took 4 years of Favre being the starting quarterback before the Packers got over the hump and won the championship. So is that saying that Love's going to do that? Absolutely not. But it's just, what are you basing your expectations on? With the youngest team in the league, them banged up, missing key players, all those things. I don't know. What do you guys got anything to add to that? Godsmack us here.
I think it's a fair criticism. I think that this team, I don't bring it up because I want Godsmack to get his time here for what he did there. But Goose said, if this team plays 100%, they win the Super Bowl. They just seem to only want to play at times at 50%. And or they can't, whatever the coaching staff can't get them to play at that 100% level. And I think that's a fair criticism. Again, I've pushed back so hard against, and I'm the guy that's if I'm in a group chat with people that are being negative, I'm trying to be the positive one. And at home, I'm screaming and I'm cussing and I'm throwing stuff off the walls and I'm yelling, "You guys are the worst. You suck." And I'm just trying to put whatever I can positively out there because in my opinion, being a fan means you like the team and you want them to succeed. And so I'm not going to sit here and grade guys. Even exactly. And certain people, maybe that I would maybe not, if I was the GM going forward, be on the team or be in charge of this or that, that's irrelevant to what's going on during the season. Because if I signed up, I bought the ticket, I'm wearing the hat, I've spent tons of money on jerseys. All right. I'm not going to switch it halfway through. Like Tim said earlier, if you don't want to be a Packer fan, then go buy something purple, go buy something blue. You know, that's fine. But just if you're going to be part of the fandom, you can't be there only for the good times, man. You just can't.
All right. Thank you guys, Matt. Appreciate you, buddy.
Sorry. Went on a rant.
Go back to the chat here. Number one Packer fan. I know that damn end around crap needs to get burned to the ground. No argument here, bub. Antoine in the chat. Conspiracy theory. Joe Barry's still in the room. Isn't it funny, Tim? We talked about this, Tim. As soon as Joe Barry was let go, it's like, you watch next year, no matter who they hire, There's going to be some of the same problems emerge, and I'm going to explain why. It's not because we're so smart. Yeah. Every NFL defense has these same problems from time to time.
How do all you man-to-man coverage fans feel? You guys like that? You guys like watching us get lit up in man-to-man coverage all day? Hope you're satisfied. You got your press man.
They'll be quiet. And again, it's nobody.
I'm sure they will. Just like they're quiet when zone works. Same thing.
13 interceptions in zone defense, only 3 in man this year. Tough.
How many? I can't wait for Chalk Talk, Clayton. I saw at least 3 third downs that we lost playing man defense, getting crushed.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting for sure. I like that was a conspiracy just then. That's awesome. DJ Colvin in the chat. McManus is still crushing it. Lock him down. I don't think there's a fan on the face of this God's green earth that is like, no, I don't know, man. Everybody's going, please, Lord, sign McManus back. Did you see how fired up he was to hit that kick, boys? I was just like, as soon as I seen his reaction to hitting that go-ahead kick, I'm like, give that dude a contract. Do it now. He's happy in Green Bay right now. Yeah. Catch him right now after the game. Hey, let's get you a contract.
How well he played the swirling wind effect there on that kick, because it came off his leg and you thought, oh God, he shanked it.
I thought he hooked it, right?
No, he booted that ball low angle right where it needed to be, and it ended up being a pretty damn good looking kick when it was all said and done.
Dude, and I swear, Santos
55 yards in the cold, I'll take it.
Santos was surprised he made his. McManus was like, it's true. You know what I mean?
I think Santos was surprised his didn't get blocked again.
That's what it is.
And believe me, I was looking at 94 going, Carl, come on, Carl.
Come on,
yeah,
Carl.
Right?
Carl. Yeah. Professor Cakes in the chat says, for all you fair weather fans who say they're going to lose next week, okay, then don't watch. Go do something else.
Preach.
Very well said. Very well said. Greg Rice. So we play Philly next week for sure. That is correct. I've seen the graphic. The old television told me that, so it's got to be real, right?
It's got to be real.
Let me pull up the playoff simulator, because ESPN does a hell of a job keeping this up to date. Let's throw this on the screen real quick, kind of give everybody an idea of what we are looking at here, as the games that have already finished should be set. So yeah, we're the 7 seed going to the 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles. You've got the Washington Commanders traveling to the LA Rams to face Sean McVay and his squad. They're the 6 seed going against the 3 seed. And then the Minnesota Vikings, the 5 seed, are going to Tampa to play Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are the 4th seed. So that's your NFC playoff look. And the AFC, it's kind of wild too. Like, perfect example of talking about holding play calling back. Check this out. I'm pretty sure Kansas City is sitting their starters today, right? So Denver's up 14-0 on Kansas City right now. Now, as you see here, Denver is the 7 seed currently, so if they win, they're obviously in. They got to be careful, knowing that the other team's got the backups in. Like, if you show too much, what's going to happen next week? What's worked here recently is going to be all over the tape, and you're going to have to really regroup. You got to kind of pick when you want to shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to that's a real thing in the league. It really is. I believe that with everything in me. So, as it sits right now in the AFC, the 7th seed is the Denver Broncos. They're going to be traveling to Buffalo to play the number 2 seed. The 6th seed Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to the Baltimore Ravens, who's the 3 seed. And the LA Chargers are the 5 seed, traveling to Houston, who is the 4th seed. Now, keep in mind, this could change. There's games going on right now. Like right now, we got Detroit as the number 1 seed, but obviously they're going to be playing. Is that Monday Night Football that they play on this week, guys? Do we know?
You said Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit, Minnesota. There's no Monday Night Football, is there?
No, it's just tonight. Yeah.
No, it's going to be tonight. Yep. So, yeah, if Minnesota wins, obviously they're the 1 seed, and it's going to be Detroit heading to Tampa. If Detroit wins, then it'll be Minnesota heading to Tampa. That's how that's going to shake out there. So that'll be a fun game to watch to kind of wrap up the entire season. I'm glad they flexed that one, because I do feel like that's the 2 best teams in the NFC for sure. That'll be a lot of fun to watch. Let's see what else we got.
We got a couple super chats that just popped in here, Clay.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Oh, this one right here, or is that?
Yes, sir. Yep, and then we got another one too.
Got it. Okay. Godsmack AR69, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, I'm definitely on the Christian Watson bandwagon. Without our field stretcher, the Packers offense looks like an
unmitigated toilet fire.
All right, there you go. You see, I'm from Kentucky. I had to slow down. I had to go unmitigated to sound that thing out. Yeah, no, it's a big deal. It really is. And it seems like when Christian goes out of the game, I don't think LaFleur sees Bo Melton as the same type of player as Christian. You know, we've always drawn that comparison because of Bo's, speed. but it kind of feels like Malik Heath might be the way they stretch the field with him. Boy, that's a big body receiver with some strong hands. Tim, you've been on that soapbox for a long time, man.
Yeah,
Malik
man.
Heath was that dude.
When
The way
we went to the airport last year, that was the first guy I saw off the plane, man. I had to give him a big old hug because I've been carrying the Malik Heath torch for a long time, man. That dude is an absolute dog and does everything he's asked to do every time he's put in these situations. And he's often put in situations where he's asked to start on short notice or he's asked to come into the game ice cold off the bench and go make plays. And this guy just continues to make plays. I mean, we can talk about that ball from Malik Willis with a banged up
shot.
I mean, that was an absolute shot. Maybe it being cold helped and he didn't feel the pain as much when he was grabbing that football. But for Malik to go up there and get it like that, that's just big boy football. And it leads to Emmanuel Wilson getting in the end zone. You know, this is what I talk about this team. There's something there, man. These guys never lay down. They refuse to quit, and they pick each other up. So banged up, 2-game losing streak, hurt, missing starters, blah, blah, blah. I still believe in this football team, and I fear nobody in the playoffs. You know, the whole point of having a successful season is to be one of the 7. And yeah, we're the 7th again, second year in a row, but y'all see what we did to that big, scary Dallas team last year that was, you know, supposed to boat race us in the first round. So
here we go.
Just leave it at that.
Don't.
We carried that sound drop forever, didn't we? We finally retired it.
Yep.
Oh man, we actually replaced it with. I think I got one here. What did I added something in earlier. I don't know if it. Yeah, we had a. Well, let me hit the super chat and then we'll get to that. Dennis Shook with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, remember when we thought, quote, no matter what K we bring in at this point, he's not going to be a top 5. Oh, talking about kicker. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
No matter what kicker we bring in at this point, he's not going to be a top 5 kicker. McManus is top 3, not 3. That's the thing. Yeah. Now, keep in mind when we were making those comments, Dennis, let's not forget that McManus was facing some serious allegations right now. He's been cleared. We can put that behind us. Obviously, if you're saying, yes, he's available for signing, he definitely would have been the best kicker available, whether you're keeping up in real life or you're playing Madden. Everybody who plays Madden knows he was sitting there on free agent list like, I don't feel right signing him. I seen the best tweet, man. I wish I could say it online. But
I wish you could too.
I need to tell you guys offline. Well, I'm just going to say it, all right? This isn't how I feel. Okay, I'm repeating what someone said on Twitter. Tim's going, oh, God, we're about to get canceled. So, you know, when they signed McManus, our response was, okay, he's been cleared, right? The league cleared him. The charges were dropped. His lawyer came out and basically said the charges had been dropped. There's no evidence to prove that, right? So it is what it is. Somebody on Twitter, after his first game, didn't he kick a game-winning field goal his first game? Am I thinking right?
Did.
So. Yeah.
As soon as that kick went through the upright, somebody had tweeted out, my dog didn't touch them hoes. I laughed so hard. I'm like, not that I agree with him, but it's like you were so convicted in your opinion of this man that you've never met because he hit a field goal for your team. Like that is NFL fandom. Yep. at the top, man. I'm just telling you, Twitter is a very interesting place. But you're right, though, Dennis. That's the reason we weren't saying go sign McManus, right? And his name got brought up a couple times. Every time it did, I remember everybody on here going, well, slow down a minute. We don't know how that's going to play out, right?
And I think it's because we didn't want to bring him in and then lose him, right? Like you go out on that limb and you sign the guy, and then if it does go sideways, then you're kind of screwed, you know? And
I'm just speaking for myself. You guys might disagree. The way I seen that situation was, if he did do that stuff that it was alleged he did, I don't want him on the team.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Lose games than have some. But the fact is, they walked through the entire legal process and he was proven innocent, right? So,
and coincidentally, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Punt God just get back this year too after beating the same type? And that was unreal.
I don't want to speak too much on that, Jacob, but I do challenge everyone to go research what Jacob just mentioned, because that they tried to ruin his life.
Dude, the Duke lacrosse things. I mean, I'm just saying, there's some times where you got to take a step back and be like, just because the news is saying it, oh, it's a shocker. You may hear me say this. The news may be lying to y'all.
Tim said, no way the news is lying to us. Look at him laugh. All right, here we go. Again, thank you, Dennis. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. going back to some of these marked ones. Let's fly through. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us, man. Hit that like button. Feel free to sub to the channel. Thank y'all for making us a part of your post-game festivities as the Packers obviously drop a tough one here to the Bears. What was it, 27-25? I think you're right. No, 24-22. 24-22. Greg Rice says, so we play Philly next week. We hit on that one, right?
Went on that, yep.
Larry Cano, good to see you. Larry says, why did the quick review reverse the completion call on the field, forcing Matt LaFleur to challenge? You know, Larry, that is a great question. And every week I feel like I'm the only fan pointing this crap out on Twitter. And there's a certain portion of the families go, oh, come on, the officials didn't decide this game, and they want to grandstand and do their whole thing. Listen, that's some weird stuff. When they reverse a completion, and then if Matt isn't so diligent on the field pointing at the Jumbotron, like, are y'all really going to make me throw this flag to get this right after y'all just checked it? Bang. And then they're forced to overturn it. Am I wrong, guys? Is Larry wrong? It's strange, right? This is weird.
Yeah. Seems odd. I mean, the whole point of the whatever they call that, replay assist or whatever, is to assist with the officiating on the field, right? If anything, you're usually using that to verify a call. We saw that replay, and the first three angles we saw, I'm like, man, that football never touched the ground. What are we even looking at? And then for them to overturn a call with replay assist, yeah, that seemed a little interesting to me. And then, yeah, it's tragic that Matt had to burn a challenge. And yeah, it didn't, we won the challenge, all is right, but it shouldn't have took that. And it shouldn't have took us losing a challenge to get that call right.
His Matt LaFleur's, by the way, first challenge that he won this year. Okay. But I will say too, like Tim just said, why is that even a thing? How is that like up to us, to everybody that was sitting on their couch could see that happen? And now that's 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks in a row. Like Clayton said, I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of Matt LaFleur going to call the timeout on the sidelines while the referee blatantly ignores him. And both times in these incidences, it's so bad that the announcers, who are getting paid by the NFL, who I'm sure would catch a fine for saying anything, a little bit decisive for the NFL, both of them were willing enough to be like, they literally said last week, that's weird. I've never seen a referee not grant a head coach a timeout on the sidelines. That's really weird.
Yeah, it's strange. Kyle Malzahn tweeted this out. Said, Buddy sent this to me. The loudest Lambeau Field has been today is Matt LaFleur throwing a challenge flag. Let's hear it here. And again, watch your earbuds here. Hopefully we don't bust your eardrums. But here's the video from the crowd, from Kyle Malzahn, sent to him from a buddy. I'm like, I really got to do this.
Throw it right at the ref, right at his head.
Crowd fired up over it, boys. I love it. Again, shout out to @Kyle Malzahn. Go give him a follow on Twitter. It's just awesome that fans share that stuff, man. You kind of get a little view from inside the stadium. But yeah, it was weird, Larry. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Again, we shot ourselves in the foot enough to say that it wasn't just the officiating. But like I said in that tweet, it's like every week there's one or two calls that's like a game-changing play that just doesn't go our way. Like the hold on the kickoff is the one I had the biggest problem with. At least in the end, Tim, they did get it right. Not to the officials' credit. Obviously, Matt had to get it done right, but is what it is. Here's a positive from the game. Two-Tone in the chat says, CV becoming a star.
Yes.
That play, that fumble, if you go watch it, that was Carrington Valentine laying the pop.
Yeah, he just ran right through him. I mean, just –
yeah.
What do we say about Josh Jacobs? Run through an MFer's face? That's what CV did on that play, man. Absolutely blew it up.
Some might call it a human meat missile.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's Carrington Valentine, though, man. Again, and it's not like it was just one. I said this 3 or 4 weeks ago. I said it's just 1 week, right? Like he looked good, and it's like, all right, boys, he's 2 weeks and 3 weeks. Now we're going, okay, you're seeing it every week. He's making a play that could change the outcome of the game, right? He basically won the middle 8 for you there a few games ago when he caught the interception inside the red zone. I think he's going to be solid. That needs to be one of our starting cornerbacks next year. Whether Ja's here or not, he needs to be a starting cornerback. Carrington Valentine does, no doubt about it. So completely agree there, Two-Tone. Another couple dogs here, too old for this in the chat, says Daniel Whelan and McManus for Packers MVP. Did you see Whelan? go back, grab that high snap, and then still get the punt off? Like, am I the only one? Did I dream that?
Thank God the Bears were like in return mode there. They were not in punt block, because that would have been real ugly. But yeah, impressive. First of all, not as impressive as it is for Matt Orzic to snap the ball over his head, considering Danny Whelan's like 6'5". You know, I mean, it takes a special skill to snap the ball that high over your punter's head. But no, great job by Whelan, at least getting that off and avoiding catastrophe there. That could have been real bad. That could have been another score right there.
Tim only says, thank God that they were in return mode instead of punt block, because we didn't want to see Daniel Whelan truck 3 people and send them to the hospital. Let's be honest about it. Yeah. Daniel Whelan, 120 pounds with 2 sand rocks in his back pocket. You know what I mean? That dude is just, he is not thick. That's
great presence of mind, though, there to just punt it and not try and get cute. Yeah. You know, pick it up and blast it out of there. That was perfect.
Definitely. Jake Shavink in the house. Good to see you, buddy. He says, hey, fella, hope everyone's holiday has been well. And then he says, season's not over yet, but going to be a fascinating offseason. Need a couple more alphas on defense. Really sucks for Watson if 2025 becomes a lost season, and now wide receiver gets more complicated. And what he's talking about there is, let's say, and I'm in no way, shape, or form am I hoping for this. Do I have any inside information? Please don't take me the wrong way, but let's say it's worst case scenario and it's an ACL, right? What Jake's saying is it's gonna interfere with next season. It is. No two ways about it.
Yep.
Now you feel good about Romeo Doubs, obviously, being on the field, and maybe you do get a little more aggressive with wide receiver, because even with Watson coming back, right? We were planning on Watson being back next year, and if that was the case, we still have wide receiver as a need. Right, we looked at it kind of like, hey, you don't have are we close enough from the old Bill Walsh school of thinking? The last piece you put in place is wide receiver, right? You go get that just stud number 1 wide receiver. Are we to that point yet? I would prioritize 3 tech over it, and I want to say slot corner over it, but I will say this: Bullard looked pretty damn good today, and maybe I'm getting ahead of my skis here.
I was telling you, man, I like him in the slot.
Yeah,
and hey, we got to see some KT Oladapo today.
Yes, we did.
Playing a little safety.
I think we did.
There we go.
I agree, though, totally with Jake's point here. Like, we need like 2 more alphas at least on defense, Clay. And I think you're right, man. Maybe it's that bona fide 3 tech, and then maybe another slot or just another monster linebacker possibly as well, because we don't know what's going to happen with Eric Wilson and Zay McDuffie going forward next year, So I think Jake brings up a good point. Makes things interesting.
And I'm telling you right now, man, your radio voice over top of this song, I can listen to it.
I was going to say, dude, that's slaps. I forgot how good that beat is.
First of all, they're not paying, so stop. We ain't giving it away for free. They can sponsor the show. Come on, man. No free advertisement.
Tim, he runs a tight ship
here,
man.
Man. Tight. Is there a way you could check Mike Hebring here? He just gave us another super chat asking if Eric Stokes did play at all in the game. In my opinion, I saw him out here quite a bit. I thought at least I would guess 20 snaps, if not much more. And again, Mr. Stokes if you don't see a cornerback out there, it's kind of like not seeing Rich Bisaccia. It's a good thing, right? So I personally saw him only give up 1 play. I believe it was that's like a 3rd and 4 to DJ Moore. And that's the only time I remember when we're in. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I think you're correct, Tim.
Let's see here. I think we've got the snap count. Let's see if we can check it out here real quick. So this is according to PFF. So hopefully it is correct. And we're looking for defense, obviously. Eric Stokes. That's their defense. I was like, I don't know those names. Eric Stokes. 5 snaps.
What happened with that?
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. Bullard in the slot, Keyshawn on the outside, and they're saying Carrington Valentine is your starting cornerback.
All right.
That's right.
Hey, good chat, Mike. That was a good question.
62 snaps Carrington played, along with Keyshawn Nixon.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, stud, he looks like he's legit. Looks like he's going to be that dude. I hope he continues, because that's what's going to separate everything, right? For sure. So, all right, let's see here. What else we got in the chat? That was Mike Hebring, right? Thank you for the super chat, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for bringing that up too. But yeah, back to Jake, what he's saying here. The offseason is going to be awesome. It's going to be right around the corner. Listen, I hope we're going to run and win the Super Bowl. I think it's possible. I really do. I'm not just saying it. Any team can get hot at any moment. But the second the season's over, I know many content creators, when it comes to the Packers, they kind of taper off for a little bit, and then they come back around free agency, and they taper off, and they go back to the draft. We will be here. The goal is every day with at least one show all off season long. And we picked up some of the biggest portion of our following during the off season last year because, in my opinion, the diehard fans, they get just as excited about the off season than they do in season, right? Typically, you get a flurry of casual fans that come in and they just want to react overly emotional to, football takes during the season. But we'll be here for the whole thing, and draft's right around the corner too. I can't wait to be in Green Bay for the draft this year. It's going to be awesome. So
it's going to be awesome, man.
Yep. But so looking at, and again, thank you for that just a second ago, Mike. And that's a good way to segue into some of the snaps here. So Carrington, Valentine, Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon, those three had played all 62 snaps, okay? And then you had Javon Bullard played 59 snaps, which they do stay in 11 personnel quite a bit. Edgerrin Cooper with 57 snaps. You know what I would say probably happened, though? I bet when we went to our base defense, I bet Javon kicked up the safety, didn't he? That's probably what happened there.
Yeah.
With 59 snaps, that's got to be what happened. Now look at Edgerrin Cooper leading the linebackers, guys. Does that mean he wore the green dot, fellas? 57.
No, I think Wilson added on.
Well, he played 57 snaps, and Eric Wilson only played 48. So he was on the field without Eric Wilson.
We got to double check then.
Yeah, 9. And again, these snap count, they might be off, right? We don't know, but this is according to PFF, they're usually pretty spot on with that. But that's interesting there.
What do y'all see about Rashawn Gary with 28? Is that? I think we were. I think, guys, it sucks to admit, but we were peppering in. We weren't throwing our best. We just
were pulling guys out and kind of, that's exactly
almost
what
like
happened.
We had a more important football game next week to worry about.
I tell you.
Yeah. And again, I wanted to win that game, man. I don't want to, I know you guys did too. We were all bummed out about it. We wanted the Packers, obviously, anytime you get a chance to beat the Bears. But yeah, when you look at the snap count, you look at the play calling, it does kind of feel like it's, hey, let's bring this thing in for a nice, easy landing, especially if your quarterback smacks his elbow on a helmet. Christian Watson goes down clutching his knee, right? Romeo over there probably, could poop through a funnel. God knows what he's dealing with, right? So and they got Jacobs out of there. So Jacobs gets in, gets him a touchdown, right? And by the way, if I understood correctly, he broke 1,300 yards. The last Green Bay Packer to do that was Ahman Green. I think it was in 2003, I believe. So
he also broke Paul Horning's 8-game touchdown record, which I never thought honestly was going to be breaking. Yes, he did.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let me just make sure. I want to double check because I know I tweeted it out, and I did fact check it when I tweeted it out. Since 2011, I'm sorry, since 2011. That's the most since 2011, not 2003. So, nope, that was Xavier McKinney. We done all kinds of cool stuff today, even though we got a loss. Xavier McKinney with the interception. The Packers now have 30 takeaways this season. That's the most since 2011. That's what that was. So that's the most takeaways we've had since 2011. Yeah, and that's right. Josh Jacobs just became the first Packer to rush for 1,300 yards in a season since Ahman Green did it in 2003. Is that good? Did I break the game?
What do you think about Coach is always we completely 100% respect whatever Coach says because he's been a dear fan. He says I could care less about the streak being done. I'm disappointed. A 1-5 standing in the North.
That's a real thing.
It is, and it's not one of those like just sideswipe opinions. It is. It's hard to justify, and it's so crazy about this season too to see where we're at. That there's teams that are getting 9-10 wins that are the 3 seeds. You know what I mean? And we're sitting here in the NFC North where I don't think anybody in their bingo card had 3 teams on the NFC North being quote unquote powerhouses. And now still we're getting a little bit of flack for not being good enough. So it's just a weird year, man. Been weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird, why don't you pull up that super chat right there, Jacob?
You mean Mr. Nick McSwain?
Yeah. Why don't you pull that one up?
We still top 7. Oh no. I was like, why are you so excited about this? I'm getting to it.
On here. Look at that. What do you know about it, Jacob? Jacob, listen.
We've changed the ticker. If the Packers have a top 7 scoring defense, Jacob will get an Emilio tattoo on his left buttocks
I don't know
cheek.
if it's been updated or not, but we're going to pull it up regardless, and then we'll double check it tomorrow.
That's not guaranteed, Tim, right? Because there's still more. There's
more games. There's more games being played. Jacob,
yeah,
I'm with you.
Jacob's counting down. He's on
Jacob,
butt tat watch right now.
I thought my fantasy season was over. It's a different type of fantasy. All right.
I'm going to fight for you to the end of the earth, Jacob. You hear me? I don't want you to have to get that tab, bro. I don't. So
the good news is, well, I'll just take your word for it, Jacob. Nobody is going to want to look and verify. Yeah.
I don't know, man. There might be a couple people in the chase. AFAM in here? AFAM ain't in here tonight, is he?
I saw him once. Yeah.
He was all right. AFAM. If you see one of his comments, I just need you to tag it for me. All right. Now let's see here. Top scoring defenses, opponents, points per game.
Oh, looky here.
Green Bay, man. So it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh already played, right?
Jacob.
Well, no, like you said, though, Detroit still got to play. They could climb up there if they goose-egged Minnesota somehow, right? We don't know. I don't know how far they could jump, but we'll check it tomorrow morning.
Will you be in here tomorrow at number 6?
Yeah. So, again, Green Bay is 6th in scoring defense. So we'll continue to monitor that as we move forward. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you bringing that up, buddy. I know Jacob does too. Stacy Mitchell in the chat says, we all get emotionally involved as true fans. Just saying, I was standing up in here, boys. This is a game that meant nothing to the season, and I was standing up in here like it was damn Game 7 of the World Series. You know what I mean?
Yep. I got more mad today, I think, than I have all season. I've been very good at not letting myself my neighbors hate me, and today I lost it. It's just something about the Bears, man. It's just something about the Bears that makes me turn into a monster.
Yeah. Let's see here. Biz, have the Bears raised their banner yet? It's coming, buddy. Let me tell you, it is coming. It is right around the corner.
They're still trying to figure out how to spell win, and then they're gonna get it hung up.
Cannonball John, how about that Malik and JL together on that one play?
Yeah.
I've seen it, and first thing I thought is fans have been calling for it. I'm anti it. You know how I feel about it. I'm anti it, but boy, there are fans that wanted it, right? And it was kind of cool to see.
Was there anyone that actually believed Jordan was going to run a route?
No. That's what gets me, right? And the goal is you're neutralizing a defender by making him stand out there on Jordan, right? And you're keeping them in that personnel. But, it was fun to see. I ain't going to lie. I kind of grin. I'm like, man, there's going to be some happy fans after seeing that, right? And now they're going to be adding EA Sports going, you got to put that in Madden. You got to put that in Madden.
Oh, my gosh.
And if you play online, that'll be spammed here real soon. I promise you. Coach Lynn, we need Quay back in the worst way. There was a couple of times that I noticed McDuffie. Now, listen, Adrian Cooper played good again. Do you guys agree, or am I wrong there? It kind of felt like he was solid again. That one route, right, where he had over-the-top help, you'd like to see him get his head around, like, Bub, you know he's out of room. This is what we talk about with all the defenders. But other than that, I thought he played really well.
He got kind of washed out on – they put him up on the edge there, let him rush. He got a little too far, on his pass rush. But, again, these are the things Hafley alluded to, right? You give him a little bit of this at a time and let him add that to his repertoire of talents and skills that he has as he grows. But I think you're right, man. Other than a couple plays that he probably would want back, I think he played pretty solid today, which of course means PFF will give him a crap rating probably.
Exactly.
I think there was one, I think there was a couple, I know for sure one, maybe two, where it was kind of I don't want to say a miss sack, but where it was like you take a better angle and you stop Caleb in his tracks. One of them I know for sure where he rolled out and just over pursued a little bit, and Caleb, you can't let that little slimy bastard get out of the pocket the way he does. I don't think I've ever felt an aggression towards a quarterback personally, and I don't know why. He seems like a decent enough guy. I'll be honest. Other than all the weird crap, I want him to not be successful. All right, good. I don't like him at all, Clayton.
No, I just don't like his manner.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
Coach Lynn, again, back to Coach Lynn's original comment that none of us even commented on. We need Quay back in the worst way. I agree. I think Quay makes a difference over McDuffie. There's no doubt. Tim, I'm sure you agree with that, right? Yeah, I know that's your boy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we see that, right? We see that missing piece in some of the coverage looks, especially over the middle of the field. I think the defense would have looked a lot different out there with Quay. And we'll see, man, even if we get Quay and some of these, we talk about Evan Williams. Can we get Evan Williams back next week for playoff football? Even if we do, what are we going to see? These guys got to get their legs under them. we're talking very little to no recovery time, rest, those sort of things. So, but I'll take a 85 or 95% Quay Walker right now all day because we need
guys.
it.
Atham's here. Good, good.
We
can start the chat.
I can be positive. Caleb is fire.
Hot.
Look at Tim had to kill his
Go away.
Hey, fan broke Tim tonight. Oh man,
I'm leaving. If he's here, I'm out of here.
It's either me or him. All right, let's see. Did we have a couple other super chats? We did, didn't we? Yeah, here we go. Josh Martin in the super chat says it took a blocked field goal to get that one divisional win. It's a very good point, Josh. Very good point, man. I was hoping we'd do it again just to break their damn hearts, to be honest with you. Dennis Shook says, I think they was referring to you, right? Yeah, with the tattoo.
I hope not.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Dennis. You creepy bastard.
I'm more of an apple bottom guy, but whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to the PFF grades, Edgerrin Cooper. It says highest graded players of the game. Edgerrin Cooper once again 80.5. I'm telling you, boys, I'm so excited about this guy. That's awesome. And look down here, Carrington Valentine 80.1. Let's go. So I think we're going to be looking up in 3 to 5 years, and those two people are going to be just absolute cornerstones of our defense. I really do, man. They're both trending in that direction. Tim, what do you think about that? Edgerrin Cooper, 80.5. Carrington Valentine, 80.1, man.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't final, right? It's just early grades. So hopefully even a little bit higher than we think. But yeah, that's awesome. We'll take it, 80s. And again, Carrington Valentine slowly taking the NFL defensive world by storm here. I'm going to keep using my tagline, not bad for a 7th round kid out of Kentucky. Another absolute steal by Goody in the draft. And it's just awesome to watch his star rise, dude. It's just so cool.
Yeah, definitely. Nick McSwain says, was X the green dot? Maybe. Could have been, right? We don't know. That would probably make the most sense. He wore the green dot in New York for the Giants. So
we can jump and see if Evan Siegel's photos are out yet on the Packers app. We could probably see a green dot on somebody's helmet.
Good point there. And Jake Shavink says Rodgers 500 touchdowns. So he did get it. There it is. Yep. So
nice.
Good
Congrats.
stuff. Yeah. That's awesome to see. I was actually in Lambeau for Brett Favre's 500 touchdown. I've got a plaque that I bought, but I've actually got the video of him celebrating. As soon as it happened, I didn't get to play, but I got the video from the stands of him standing there and Donald Driver walking up and putting his arms around him and everything. It was really cool. So how blessed are we that we've had two quarterbacks, back-to-back quarterbacks with 500 touchdown passes? That's crazy.
I love it. It's amazing. Can I stir the chat up real hard real quick?
Oh God, Jacob, here you go. Yeah,
all
let's
right.
hear it.
Let me post a conspiracy. All right. Jordan Love's thumb. It's trashed. For some reason, it's the worst injury ever. It's a elbow to the thumb. He can't even feel anymore. Malik Willis, same thing. It's a freak accident. We got no quarterbacks no more. If you had to, Aaron Rodgers is available. Do you take him next year if he gives you a sweetheart deal and lets you go in and run that? I'm just kidding. Don't even.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Love how this scenario has both of these quarterbacks who have a 2-year injury all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
On my knee.
God, I love you, Jacob. I swear. Chris in the chat. How many missed sacks did we have today? I think 3 or 4. Yeah. I had to go back and watch it. And again, that's what Caleb Williams does well. He's probably the best quarterback in the league that isn't named Lamar Jackson at evading sacks. I feel like he's got a bigger knack for it than Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's nowhere near Josh Allen's talent. Obviously, Josh Allen might be the MVP, but the way that Caleb is able to evade those sacks in the pocket, that's definitely his superpower. There's no two ways about that. So we'll get into the tape, and like I said, we'll do a chalk talk probably Tuesday evening, and we'll maybe we can come up with a realistic number there because it does feel like there were several for sure. Coach Lynn in the chat, I could care less about the streak. We already hit that one, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay.
Or to that extent, yeah.
All right, gotcha. And then, no way, Green Bay Wolverine, the Patriots fired Mayo. Here comes. Get ready for it. Vrabel is going to be their head coach, guaranteed. Done.
You think so?
Oh yeah, that was the Kraft's top choice before. That's who they wanted, and they did this secession to, like they kind of bridged the gap with Mayo there. And it became common knowledge that once Kraft pulled the trigger on getting rid of Belichick, okay, Mayo is our backup plan. But at the time, they wanted to see what Mayo could do as opposed to jump right in. What I'm saying is Vrabel not getting a job last year kind of gave them the cushion to do that. If another team had emerged and said Vrabel's taking this job, I think Robert Kraft would have swooped in and said, bang, Mayo, you good with being the defensive coordinator for Vrabel? If not, the hell out of town. So I think they're going for Vrabel. And I think that's the right move. I don't think Mayo's going to be a good head coach. But go ahead, Jake.
In your guys' opinion, what would be, as a Packer fan, your preferred pick for the Bears to choose as their next head coach? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, which coach do you think is going to be fluffed up to just completely fall on his face?
Pete Carroll.
Oh, that'd be great with him chewing the gum.
Yeah, I think mine would be, there was somebody that was mentioned for the Jets, Rex Ryan. I would love to see Rex Ryan
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because,
Buddy Ryan was his dad. He was the defensive coordinator for the 85 Bears.
So.
There you go. It kind of, I could see them tugging at the heartstrings like, this is Buddy Ryan's son. And that would be absolutely awesome. There you go, Coach Lynn. That's even better.
Yeah.
I don't know who Jerome Mayo is, but I'm about
with J. Cole. Antonio Pierce is going to get fired. I wonder if he'll go to the Bears.
Oh, mercy. Listen, this offseason is going to be a blast. That coaching carousel and everything. Oh, it's so much fun, man. So much fun. So, all right, we are caught up on the chat, aren't we? That's great. So obviously we hit the top two players on the initial grades is Edgerrin Cooper and Carrington Valentine. We come full circle.
Hey, too old for this. Whoever it is, we all know the Bears are only going to interview one person.
They're going to go, she's the one. She's the one.
Yeah, the Bears could interview Michael Scott, and they'd be like, this guy's got moxie,
Oh, man. Yeah, so it says Edgerrin Cooper, the player of the game, Edgerrin Cooper has evolved into one of the NFL's top linebackers in just his first season. If his 80.5 PFF overall grade in this game holds after reviews, it would be his fourth straight 80-plus mark. No linebacker has graded out better than him over the past 4 weeks. So, got a stud, absolute stud. Go ahead, Jacob. What you got in there, man? I know we're about to get toxic, ain't we? Let's see.
No, it's just tough. Michael Scott would be the best coach in Bears history for sure. There'd be a lot of innuendo there. But also, did you guys see that they flashed a stat in addition to what you just said about PFF and Edgerrin Cooper being so highly graded? He, in the last 4 weeks, also has the highest tackle for loss record in the NFL of all active linebackers. I believe it was like 7 or 8 tackles for loss. And that was before I think he had at least 1 or 2 in this game. So the dude, we got something there.
Roper this says the Bears are going to hire Creed Bratton as the general manager. Creed is my favorite character on The Office, hands down. I don't know about you guys. I love that dude, man.
Oh, yeah.
The way he handled the whole watermark situation and still made money off of it. I mean, my God, that is my idol. No
Did
doubt.
you know that he was in
when the merger happened and he sold all the office supplies?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
if you guys actually look him up in real life, he was in a 60s jam band. I can't remember the name. Like an actual one that was like a iconic 60s jam band. He was like a bass player or something in the band. And so a lot of things, remember when he says, back in the 60s, I used to have a lot of intercourse in the mud and the muck. And eventually, someone would slip in. Like, I think he was actually playing Creed in real life.
That's terrible.
Yeah, what was it he said that in the mud you don't know? I'm trying to think sometimes.
If a man slips in, who's to say,
Who knows? God, he's awesome. Yeah, so it was 2 different episodes, wasn't it, Tim? You had the merger episode where he was selling everything, and then the Debbie Brown episode where with the watermark, right? I mean, this dude basically called over there. What did he say? Yeah, I came over there to do a quality assurance check, and there was somebody missing that day. Could you tell me who that was? Debbie Brown. That's right.
Somebody was out sick that day. Who was out sick that day? Debbie Brown.
And then he took up money from people in the office because Debbie was losing her job.
That's right.
And he,
and he threw away the card and pocketed the money. Thug
gold.
Do you know what he said too? He goes, the only difference between me and a homeless man is the things I'll do to not become a homeless man.
Like I did when I was homeless. That's what he said. Oh, it's good.
Here's the guy
This show sucks. We're just in here rambling now. So 2-0 for this. What is my job? What's that say?
It's quality assurance. No, I'm close, but I'll get there. He couldn't remember what his job was.
This show does suck, Nick. So bad, man. Here we go. Holmes MD1 says, we're going to need that sound bite, Tim. What the hell's going on out here? This show sucks. Coach Lombardi's hanging around here somewhere, I'm sure. We'll see. All right, let's see here. H.E. Solder says, defense is getting some tackles for loss. Now they just need to stop the easy middle of the field throws on third down. Yeah, I think that was a big problem today. It seemed like several times they ran that little spot play where they sat down underneath the zone. And it's kind of twofold, Solder. Like what typically happens with those spot plays, whether you're in a dub set or a trip set, if you're in a trip set, you'll stretch one vertical and then have a guy sit underneath. So you're trying to get the linebackers to stretch vertically to take away this huge play, right? And then they just hammer that spot play underneath. And they'll throw in a little slurl look like that curl. Some people call it a stab route. I call it a slurl. It's like a slant and a curl combined. You show the slant. They're stretching the field vertically in another route. Show the slant, sit down underneath. It's just pitch and catch, right? But a couple of times, like that one play, DJ Moore made the catch. Isaiah McDuffie played it perfect. He got his hand in there and everything. It's just a freak play. If that falls incomplete, too, who knows how this game ends. But, yeah. Anyway, let's see here what else we got in the chat. Anything else? What is this? 2-0 for this. Did y'all talk about Michael Pierce pick yesterday? I've never seen a big dude drop into coverage like that. I don't know what he's talking about.
D tackle made the interception over the middle. He kind of a BJ Raji-esque type play.
Fire zone blitz.
He didn't have the wheels to get her down. He went about 10, 15 yards and then he shut her down.
That needs to be a sound drop. He didn't have the wheels to get her down. So, all right, Tim, you got anything else? Let's get out of here, man. This sucks.
Yeah, keep your heads up, boys and girls.
Regular
season's over, but unlike the Bears and a lot of other teams, we have another game next week. So one at a time. Let's try and put a run together. Stay as positive as you can. Just because you had a bad game or you've been playing bad doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So go Pack, go, baby. Let's go beat Philly.
That's a great point, Tim. Is it okay if I quote the master, Mr. Matt Ramage, and say what my opinion of the summarization? He's a real fan. And Matt Ramage, if you guys know him, if you don't, he will never say a bad thing about the Packers because he's a fan of the Packers. That's kind of his thing, right? He says, I'm called a cheerleader because I don't cry after a loss. I'm a fan and I'll fan my way. I'll never change. If you want to act like the world is ending, do you? My team is in the playoffs and I won't cry after and complain about it. It's a playoff time. Nobody knows what will happen. Glad we aren't like the Bears.
Heard it from a fan right here.
It's perfect. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, absolutely.
It's exactly what I think.
DJ
Matt Ramage is Packer fan royalty, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Never heard that dude say anything negative about anybody. I just love him.
Give him a follow if you're not doing it already.
Yep.
I promise you, if you found this show, you found Matt Ramage.
Yeah.
way before you found this. DJ Colvin in the chat said Edgerrin Cooper might be our X factor against Saquon next week. It's a great point, man.
Ooh.
And listen, you talk about a good measuring stick, boys and girls. You want to know how far along this team has come or hasn't come? You watch them go up against Philadelphia Eagles next week. Philadelphia Eagles are top tier, in my opinion. They're right there at the top. They're definitely top 5, probably top 3 in the league. We're going to get to see what this young team's all made of, man. And then, who knows? Maybe we pull off the upset of the year and go into Philly and get a win. Or if not, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the offseason, get ready for free agency, the draft, all that good stuff. Start kind of grading out this team and seeing, all right, where are the holes? We'll prioritize the holes on the roster and move forward that way. So, all right. Anything else, Jacob? You good?
I'm good, guys. Keep the head up. Let's go.
It's so mean 2-0 for this. Unbelievable. But the only reason I'm showing this because I guarantee you Matt Ramage just said that.
He would laugh.
Cracking up. If
he would laugh.
Laughing too.
Yeah, exactly. But 2-0 for this, you're still an evil person. You need to know that.
He'd be a great quarterback. He can read that defense all at once.
There you go. All right, we're out, guys. Appreciate y'all. Listen, this game sucked, just like this show. But we're going to reset next week, try to beat the Eagles on the road. It's playoff football. We're going to dive into everything Philadelphia Eagles this week, kind of give you guys an idea of what we think the keys to the game will be. I really like the energy that Matt LaFleur was showing at his presser. Didn't look like a guy panicking. To me, he looked like a guy that did hold some stuff back, He made sure that he tried to protect his roster, other than Christian Watson, to try to go into this next game healthy. So I'm excited to see what this team can do next week. But we'll be back tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Weren't we supposed to spin the old pinky wheel?
Not today.
No? Okay.
Yeah, for the playoff game, we're going to give away the Carl Brooks autograph photo that says the block, right, where he blocked the field goal attempt there against the Bears earlier in the year. So we're going to give that away next week during the postgame show. Okay. Now, we still have not heard from John Smith, Bucks Rays Bolts, or Andre. It's Andra, a circled C SMX. All right. So you guys know where they're at. Please tell
John Smith is clearly with Pocahontas somewhere, but I don't know where the other two
first thing
are.
I thought of too, man. So again, you guys text me 865-658-5824. You won the autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. It goes to John Smith first. If you don't show up, it'll go to Bucks Rays Bolts. If they don't show up, it'll go to Andre. So please, if I don't hear from you, we're gonna have to just throw it back in the hopper, right, and give it away later. But
give it to Eric Sutherland.
Hell with that guy, Tim. We ain't getting me. Nah, we'll send Eric something. It'll have to be in a series.
You beat me, Tim.
My wife checking in. Don't worry, guys. This show may suck today, but the Bears suck forever.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
All
right. Now I know why you married her. There you go.
That's right.
The Bears still suck.
2-0 for this says John Smith sounds like something A-Fan will call his burner. I agree with that for sure. All right. TJ Colvin, you're out of control. Of course, that would come through on Rumble. I'm out of here. Y'all going to try to get me canceled. Bye.
There we go.
Bye, guys.